Hi, this is Ron Kubitz, President-elect with the PHRA, and we're here at the 2016 annual conference, and we're very excited. We're getting ready actually for the closing keynote, and I am honored to have as our guest for the closing keynote Gisele Fetterman.
Delighted to be here.
Well, great. Well, among other things, she's the First Lady of Braddock, PA.
There's no wave that comes with it.
Well, that's you have that done very well. She's also founder of the Free Store in Braddock and co-founder of 412 Food Rescue. And she's here today to talk about our obligation to find value in the devalue. So we're certainly welcome and glad to have you. Now, obviously, you have a pretty good story to tell. You were born and raised in Brazil, emigrated here at the age of 8. So obviously, that's a big transition, especially as a child. So how was that transition? How did that shape some of the beliefs and some of the values that you have today?
We came overnight. It was a sudden move to a new country. We didn't speak English. We didn't really know anyone. We didn't know the language. So, I mean, my mom made it an adventure. So looking back, I think it was probably more traumatic than any scars I was left with, because she made it as we were on this wild adventure. And, in that, I was an ESL student, learning my way around. We were undocumented also for over a decade. So there were a number of challenges that we worked through together.
Great. Now, as I mentioned, you're also founder of the Free Store in Braddock. Can you tell me a little bit about the Free Store and its mission and purpose?
Sure. What the Free Store aims to do is to show that there's just a lot of value left in things, in places, and in people. And what we do is we receive donated goods, also excess from retail, and we redistribute those to families in need. We serve about 1,600 folks a month. We're an entirely volunteer-run organization, and we have almost no overhead costs in doing so. Great.
And where did that idea come from?
Well, moving here, right, we had nothing. My mom was cleaning houses, and while she learned the language, and our home had no furniture or things. And one day, as we would go on these evening walks in our neighborhood, we came across all this furniture that was on the curb. And it was strange to me. I've never seen that. That doesn't happen in Brazil. And I wondered what that was, why it was there, and it turned out it was bulk garbage day. And a truck would shortly arrive, and it would crush all these items that mostly were in fine condition. It was just someone had a nice couch, and they bought a nicer couch. So their nice couch just goes on the curb and is destroyed. And at that moment, I learned it kind of solved the problem that we had, because we had no furniture. But then here it is on the curb. So our first apartment was entirely furnished with these items that we found in the street. And it set this responsibility for me that I needed to find homes for things. So whether it was a dress I no longer wore, or my kids were growing out of something, I just had this responsibility to home these items.
Great. So obviously, First Lady of Braddock, the Free Store. So you must think that there's 36 hours in a day. I don't know how you get this all done, but you're also the co-founder of the 412 Food Rescue. Can you explain a little bit about the program there?
Yes, so through the Free Store, we started distributing clothing, shoes, accessories, immediate needs. But I would have families that weren't sure what they would be feeding their children by the end of the week. So food insecurity is a serious issue in America. About 1 in 6 are food insecure in this country, a large portion of that being children. And it started with a partnership with Costco. I was at Costco, and I saw an employee wheeling kind of these pallets of bananas to the back of the store. And they weren't mushy, they weren't brown, they were just yellow bananas. And I'm nosy, so I tracked them down, and I asked where these bananas were going. And they were going to be discarded or composted. And I couldn't understand why. Why is this happening? And it's because they were yellow, and Americans only buy green bananas. So yellow bananas at every grocery store across the country are likely ending up in the same way. So I asked them, if I were to pick them up and distribute them to families who could use them, would you give me those bananas? And they said yes, and it started from there. And then currently Costco calls us 3 to 4 times a week. We pick up all their produce, deli items, and baked goods. And through this one partnership, we were able to essentially eradicate food insecurity in my community. And we thought, how can we do this for the whole county, and then how can we go bigger? So I partnered with my co-founder, Laili Zarando, and this idea was born. And what we are is that we are the Uber of food rescue. So in the same way that Uber works, how it moves people, we actually move food. And we do it with volunteers. We put up an ask. We have a pallet of bananas at Costco. Will someone please pick it up and drive it to the shelter downtown? And folks will raise their hands and say, I'll do it. We currently work with about 1,000 volunteers, and we serve
Wow.
Close to 120 organizations.
So certainly farther outreach than just the Braddock area.
Oh
That's
yes,
great.
yeah, we serve
That's
all of
great.
Allegheny
Yeah.
County, and we currently deliver to 120 different organizations that feed the food insecure in the county.
That's great. That's great. So obviously, First Lady of Braddock, we don't have to wave again. Your husband, for people that don't know, is John Fetterman. He ran for Senate, and at least according to political pundits, did a lot better than I think people had expected him to do originally, even though you always want to win. But he certainly was able to take a lot of victory out of it. So going through that process, how did that maybe shape some of your views or change some of your views, seeing that whole process for that higher office?
I mean, we're able to see the part that money plays in politics, and it's disheartening to see that, because elections should be about ideas and accomplishments, but money is really a big part of it. But we were, I believe, successful in bringing a lot of issues that matter to us to the forefront. Now candidates are speaking about opioid addiction and forgotten towns like ours. So I think it's been really successful in that way. And it was really fun to travel the state and hug people. I got to hug so many people, and that was amazing.
She likes to hug. I can vouch for that.
I'm a hugger.
So your husband is, I think, what, about 6'8"?
6'9".
And 6'9". Okay, so I underestimate me. I've seen a lot of pictures of you and he and them, and he's a good-looking guy. But in most of the pictures, you don't actually see him because you always cut his head off. Why do you do that?
But I usually have to choose between my shoes or his head. And the shoes will often win. Plus, he's camera shy, so I feel like he still gets to be in the photo, but then my shoes make it as well. When you're that tall, it's hard. Cropping is difficult.
So you obviously have your husband. Who else makes up the Fetterman family?
We have 3 small kids. We have a 7-year-old boy named Carl, a 5-year-old named Grace, and a baby who's 2 named August.
You want to share the story from your daughter? You told me earlier about some of what she's going through now.
She's amazing. They're fun kids, and I think we're done. We're 3.
Well, you don't want to talk about some of her crushes that she's seeing out there?
Oh, she's boy crazy right now at 5, and we're working through that.
Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, I'm going to read this next question so I don't get in trouble here.
Sure.
So I'm curious as to what is caldo verde?
Caldo verde. It's a Portuguese soup, but it's really popular in Brazil. It's a soup my grandma used to make as a kid, and I was invited to be a part of this cooking show, which is funny because I don't cook at all, and I got to make caldo verde and honor her a little bit.
And what else do you like to do in your spare time, if you have any?
A lot of things with the kids. I'm really involved in that. My background's in nutrition, so I like to be involved in a lot of those kinds of things. But it's really Braddock is all my time.
Well, that's good. Well, we obviously had the honor of being able to volunteer out at the Free Store back in the spring, and look forward to making that annual event as well. So you're coming up on your keynote. We're very excited about it, and again, very excited that you were able to take some time to talk with us here today. So hey, thank you very much.
Delighted to be here.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.